This is Nintendo Power Uncovered, the show where I review the covers of all 285 issues of Nintendo Power. From the great to the baffling to the just plain lazy, we're in for the long haul. We're continuing our trek through the final 3 issues of 1989, featuring covers that celebrate Mega Man 2, DuckTales, and Tetris. It's a weird assortment of games, but are the covers any good? That's what we're about to find out in this episode of Nintendo Power Uncovered. If you've watched the first 2 episodes, then you already know that we've seen a Simon Belmont Halloween costume, Richard Marx creepily staring at an unconscious Zelda, and whatever this Track and Field 2 cover is supposed to be. While I know a lot of people love the cheesiness of those covers, none of them have been able to match the claymation goodness of the first Super Mario Bros. 2 issue. Well, that ends today, because this Mega Man 2 cover from June-July 1989 is not only one of the best things Nintendo Power came up with, but it's actually better than the game's real box art. Wait, no, I meant the US box art. Wait, go back to that European box. Is that a cat head floating in the sky? Why does Mega Man's arm look like a shiny chrome bowling pin? What the hell's going on here? Anyway, back to the Nintendo Power cover. I love how they don't give a damn about spoilers. The game is good about saving Dr. Wily's spaceship until the very end of the game after you've earned the right to challenge him. But here we see it right on the cover, perfectly recreated as a model. It's surprisingly accurate, which speaks to the artist's attention to detail. And that's really saying something, because the Nintendo Power artists have been all over the place so far. They had Mario wearing a blue hat, Simon with a sword, Link with a mullet, Turtles with big noses. What I'm saying is the Nintendo Power's artists haven't always had an eye for detail. And it's not just Wily's ship that's straight out of the game, but also the little hover jet Mega Man is riding on. That's the special item you win after defeating Airman, so it's great to see it used in action. And that's the thing, this is a genuinely exciting cover. It's in the middle of space and shows Mega Man doing exactly what he does best, going after Dr. Wily. And how cool does the Doctor look here? I love the crazy hair and the nonplussed reaction. I love this cover so much that I won't even bother to dwell on the fact that both characters are in space without a helmet. This is a new high watermark for not only Nintendo Power, but all magazines. One of the things that I really liked about the early Nintendo Power covers is they mostly focused on original games and not licensed properties. In fact, only one of the issues we've covered so far has been connected to a movie or cartoon, and that was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue, which remains the lowest scoring cover we've seen yet. After suffering through the laziness of that issue, I braced myself for the worst for this DuckTales issue. I mean, if Nintendo was ever going to rely on somebody else's art assets to make do, then it was surely going to be the popular Disney Afternoon Star. As it turns out, Nintendo Power did end up using the art assets from that famed animation studio. But don't let that be a knock against this cover, because everything else comes from the prop department. This is a magical cornucopia of odds and ends, from a big pile of gold coins to an angry gorilla inside a computer screen. There's a bee trying to escape the vines and a deadly Venus flytrap. It's wild and messy, looking more like an episode of Hoarders than a video game. For fans of DuckTales, this is quite literally a scene from the game brought to life. More importantly, it's another great example of Nintendo Power getting the details right. They even included a mini-map and money bags. I'm not sure if this is going to make you want to spend your big pile of cash on DuckTales, but I appreciate the effort of recreating a beloved moment from a cherished 8-bit game. My biggest complaint is the blue background. I don't know, it makes the cover feel a little incomplete. It would have been nice to see the rest of the room, or even just a wall. It's a minor thing, because this cover's pretty rad. You might think that something as simple as Tetris wouldn't be able to inspire Nintendo Power to create one of the strangest, yet most endearing covers yet. After all, we're talking about a game starring falling blocks that can't wait to disappear, and we've already seen what happened with the Track and Field 2 cover. Well, now is the part of the show where I tell you to stop being so skeptical, because this Tetris-themed cover is wacky and weird in all the best ways possible. I don't know if this cover is the product of one man or a full team of artists. I don't know if it's supposed to have a deeper meaning about the world crumbling. Hell, I don't even know if this originally started out as an ode to Tetris. What I do know is that whoever worked on this decided to get very, very stoned first. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 brownies here. This is the kind of thing you need a party bowl for. Trust me, get Tetris-sized sounds way better after a gravity hit. Drug allegations aside, this is a devastatingly creative cover. There's a line of clones walking down a golden bridge, slowly turning into Tetris pieces. The houses and city streets are also made out of blocks, though only from a distance. Up close, things only get stranger. There's a mustachioed building with a Mario hat. Nestor is hanging out of a window in one of the houses. Also, people drive shoes around like cars. It's like a weird drug-fueled Where's Waldo picture. It's odd that the most comforting part of the cover isn't Nestor or the army of game-playing clones, but rather the falling Tetris pieces. Sure, it's potentially violent and could really screw up those impeccably designed houses, but the one thing I know about Tetris pieces is that they fall! Part of me is really curious what this cover would look like just a few seconds later, after everybody is scattered and mass chaos is broken out in the streets. Also, on a much lighter note, this cover art gets bonus points for using the NES Max controller. I loved that thing. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Nintendo Power Uncovered. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. And here's the question I have for you. How would you rank these 3 covers? Do you agree with my rankings, or was I way off? Let me see your thoughts in the comments below. In other news, I'm currently hard at work on reviews for Rico, Streets of Red, and more. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.